For many, sports are not just a game. The avid fan knows that. From an outside perspective, it's almost impossible for the non-sports fan to understand how much someone's teams mean to them. Despite the players' lives not being at stake, meaning their future careers every day, fans themselves ride or die by those players' performances. As some may say, a team's success is even better than sex. But when team ownership gets in the way of success, fans rightfully need to hold their ownership accountable and in scrutiny. Today I'm going to be talking about the Chicago Cubs and their ownership. Ever since purchasing the Chicago Cubs from the Chicago Tribune in 2009, Tom Ricketts has run the team as chairman, according to MLB.com. Ricketts' reign of terror has set the Cubs back from reaching their true potential as he is cheap, does not care about winning, and only worries about his bottom line and thus should sell the team. Let's begin by discussing the cheap behavior of Mr. Ricketts. Now, Tom Ricketts is one of the cheapest owners in Major League Baseball as he operates the third largest market in the country like a mid-major market. According to Baseball Almanac, the Chicago Cubs are the third largest market in MLB with around 9 million people just behind Los Angeles and New York. Therefore, their payroll should be similar to teams like the Dodgers and Yankees. However, their payroll sits at 11th. Terrible. And a measly $192 million, according to Sportac. Now, with these large market teams having big payrolls upwards of $300 million like the Dodgers and Yankees, it's absolutely unacceptable that the Cubs are not in the same spot, and fans should absolutely have the right to call Tom Ricketts cheap. If you are a sports fan, this behavior is unacceptable. If your favorite team acted the same way, you would also be pissed off. I am telling you why Tom Ricketts is cheap to prove he has set the Cubs back from acting like the Yankees, Mets, Dodgers, teams the Cubs should be competing with as the big boys, the big market teams. Look, now I want to discuss why Ricketts does not care about winning. In addition to being an extreme cheapskate, Cubs owner Tom Ricketts does not care about winning and the product on the field. At the 2025 Cubs convention, the largest sports fan convention in America, Ricketts was quoted saying, quote, "We are trying to break even every year, and that's about it." When you own a franchise worth, according to Forbes, $4.6 billion, breaking even should never be an issue. When your team has not won a playoff game since 2017 or made the postseason since 2020, really since 2017, they played in a couple wild card games and wild card series, and that really doesn't count. Breaking even shouldn't be your last excuse. I mean, Ricketts was also quoted saying he cannot compete with payrolls like the Dodgers and Mets, two teams the Cubs share equal resources and power with. If you are a sports fan, you should feel absolutely outraged by Ricketts' words. The last thing any fan wants to hear is about financial issues. I am telling you this because Ricketts is not ponying up to spend or compete like the big market team the Cubs should be. And look, to add insult to injury, the Cubs have never signed a player to a $200 million or greater contract, which is something 17 of 30 teams have done. Even the small market Brewers, your little brother rival up north, have spent more money than the Cubs on a player. This is absolutely unacceptable. And look, I think we need to end this rant discussing Tom Ricketts' bottom line and what truly really only means to him. Tom Ricketts only cares about his bottom line, as he makes more than enough money that is not put back into the team. According to Brooksgate on X, formerly known as Twitter, the Chicago Cubs made $584 million in 2024 revenue. However, that was also only behind the Yankees and Dodgers. Out of all that money, $584 million, only $213 of it was put on the team. Good for 26th in baseball. That is absolutely terrible. And to show you the graphic for real, I have it right in front of me. You can see teams on that list. The Mets obviously made the most money and put the most money toward their team. You got the Dodgers there, Blue Jays, not a big market, Philadelphia, Arizona, Padres, a couple really small markets on this list. Then at the bottom, you have teams like the Marlins, White Sox, and then the Cubs. And look, you never want to be in the same company as the White Sox or Marlins. The fact that the Chicago Cubs are in that tier of teams on how much money you put toward your payroll out of the entire money you make. So you have your total team revenue, and then you have what goes actually into the team. So maybe beer sales, tickets, everything you make, and the portion that only goes into the team. That is terrible when only about 36% of the funds you make in a season go back on the field toward the team. Like I said, unacceptable. Fans deserve better. The Chicago Cubs fans deserve better. It took the Cubs 108 years to win a World Series, and yet it appears they are going nowhere anytime soon. All sports fans should be enraged by this. Imagine your team being this frugal. You would be pissed as I am right now as a Cubs fan. And look, to sum it all up, since purchasing the Cubs 17 seasons ago, we have seen more bad than good. Ever since the Cubs won their first World Series back in 2016, since 1908, Ricketts has turned to autopilot. Not just Cubs fans, but sports fans all around the world need to hold Tom Ricketts accountable. He needs to pony up, act like a large market team. He has a couple huge contract decisions coming up. Kyle Tucker needs to be paid. Will he be the first Cubs player to receive over $200 million? We shall see. But look, if Tom Ricketts continues to be cheap, your owners, your team's owners will follow suit and set a very dangerous precedent in the world of sports ownership.